This is a video being provided by Caradays. And by all means, check out her page. I had her video stashed in one of my playlists, one of my reaction video playlists. So I'm finally getting back to it. But shout out to her for this content. What it is, what it do. Welcome back to my channel, Capital J. Today we doing a video. It's about pretty by proximity. Why Gen Z is obsessed with attractive friends. I got a few. I haven't watched this video, but I got a few theories about things that I'm seeing when I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? And I see how you know, we engage with each other and the choices that, like, you know, Gen Z. I'm not part of Gen Z. I'm a millennial, respectfully. But I got a few theories, and I'm hoping that, like, I could attack some of these theories. Maybe I could get some confirmation. So let's check it out. Let's see what it is.
Who needs to hear this? But pretty girls need to be friends with girls that are on their level. Okay? And that includes looks. I know it might sound superficial, but you're going to attract insecure women to you. Be mindful of girls that don't look like you. Be mindful of girls that aren't conventionally pretty.
Tell me why every girl group TikTok looks like they were handpicked by a modeling agency. No, but seriously, every single girl group looks like an Instagram baddie meets a Pinterest girly in a way that looks almost too perfect. But here's the real question. Are they all naturally gravitating towards each other? Or is there some subconscious strategy at play? Today, we are diving into the topic of pretty by proximity, aka why Gen Z is obsessed with surrounding themselves with conventionally attractive friends. From social media validation to dating advantages, we're about to get real as to what's really going on here. But before we start, if you are new here, hi, my name is Caroline, your internet bestie who loves to yap and use my love of commentary to give glory to God and uplift other women. This space is 100% opinion based, so if you agree or disagree with anything I say here, leave a comment down below as I love learning and growing with all of you. What is pretty by proximity? So what do I mean by pretty by proximity? It's the idea that being around attractive people makes you seem more attractive by association. And this isn't just some TikTok conspiracy. Science actually backs this up. A 2014 study from the Journal of Psychological Science found that people are perceived as more attractive when they are in a group versus when they are alone. This is called the cheerleader effect.
What about those girls over there? They're hot. They're not hot.
Are you kidding? I hated their guts the second I saw them, which means they're hot.
Oh, there's so much to teach you all. You have just become victims of the cheerleader effect. Glad you asked. The cheerleader effect is when a group of women seems hot, but only as a group. Just like with cheerleaders. They seem hot, but take each one of them individually, sled dogs. Take a good hard look at each one of those girls.
Unpopular opinion. The cheerleader effect is real. A group of guys or girls look way more attractive together than when they are singled out.
I think this is 100% true. If you see, like, for me, if I see a group of guys walking past and they're like all ready to go out, you're immediately like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
they look all right.
yeah.
Then you single each person out individually and I might not like any of them. I think it's true.
I think so. I agree to an extent. I think from a male's perspective, I don't personally believe that a shorty needs to be in a group to be attractive. I think that you're either attractive or you're not, regardless of who you're with. Even from high school, like I've seen shorties in groups or a duo that, like, one of the shorties was attractive, the other one wasn't. And even when shorty was by herself, like, she doesn't look like and I'm not trying to be like overly like literal with the words, but like, if she's attractive regardless of whether she's standing next to other women or whether she's by herself. It is not that complicated. From my perspective, I'm assuming that a lot of guys would agree with what I'm saying. She's either attractive or she's not, regardless of who she's standing with. Now, from my perspective, like when I talk about myself, from my experience, I think that's this cheerleader thing. I think in a weird way, it affects guys a little bit more, because I personally believe that um if and I get affected by, like, I don't know, I get affected by weird things where if my friend is like light skinned, or if he's taller than me, because it's not hard to be taller than me. I said in my other video, I'm only 5'6", you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, when I'm by myself, you know, I don't have any issues like when I'm by myself, but it seems like there's like a negative effect on me when I'm with my friends, if especially if they're like taller than me, or if they're more light skinned. It's almost as if like a shorty, for example, she might be like attracted to my friend, and then I've seen a few times where like she was attracted to my boy, but then she would be like rude to me. I don't know. So it seems like for me, I'm better off like being by myself. I don't know. Like, yeah, I always hang out with my friends, and I don't have no ill wills to my friends. Like, game is game. You know what I'm saying? Ball is ball. Let's play ball. But I'm just, based on this topic, I'm just, kind of thinking about things I've seen, and just kind of bouncing off the things that I'm seeing in the video based on and things that I've seen in reality. But if you agree or disagree, drop a comment in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm bugging. I don't know. Let me know.
AKA, when you're surrounded by good-looking people, your own attractiveness gets a boost just by being in their presence. But Gen Z didn't just discover this. We perfected it. With social media, people are curating their friend groups just as much as they're curating their Instagram feeds. The goal? Aesthetic alignment. Hear me out.
I definitely agree with that. Before she explains further, I definitely agree with that. The older I get, and the more like the younger generation starts to be outside more and more, I am observing that it is more so the shorties, because I personally believe like guys, we're visual creatures when it comes to women. But if I'm cool with my boy for a specific reason, it has nothing to do with how he looks. How he looks is how he looks. It has nothing to do with me. But I'm cool with him for whatever reason I'm cool with. Maybe we worked together. Maybe we was in school together. Maybe we played on a sports team together. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I met him outside somewhere or whatever, and I like how he thinks. I like how he conducts himself. I like how he handles business, whatever case may be, and then we just wound up being cool. So how he looks has nothing to do with me, and I don't care about that. But on the female side, I honestly believe that a lot more females, with the influence of social media, I think that a lot more females care about when they put themselves into a certain category, they want to be friends with the most attractive female, and they want to date the most attractive man. And and I think personally, you kind of getting lost in that social media kind of world where the things that you're doing is not aligned in reality. And that's just what I'm observing. I can't prove it. It's just something that I'm observing when I go to kickbacks, when I go to parties, when what I'm saying. I don't go to clubs no more, but I stopped going to the club like 2 years ago. But these are just things that I'm observing, and it's kind of fascinating. So moving right along.
Go on somebody's Instagram that you've never been on. And if you've never done this, go and do this, okay? Because you'll start to see how things align. Go on somebody's Instagram account who has a very specific niche, or you can be broad, even if they're just beautiful. Look at the people that they just so happen to post. If they're gonna post anybody else on their feed, look at who they're posting. Look at the people that are around them in their Instagram feed in post pictures, not just like, oh, they're on their story, it's a friend or a family member. I'm talking about in post pictures. It's usually people who go with the vibe of them. So if they love to travel and they're a model, they're mostly only posting pictures with other beautiful models who are traveling or doing things like that. Don't misinterpret this. I'm not trying to say that people can't be friends with like-minded people, but a lot of people do curate their friends specific to the aesthetic that they themselves want to give off. And we'll get into it as to why that can be problematic. Also, ask yourself, have you ever noticed this in your own friend group? Or do you think this is something that only happens online? The social media effect. Why looks-based friendships are on the rise. Now let's talk about why this is so common in Gen Z. Short answer, social media has has turned friendships into aesthetics,
Run
influencer
that back,
culture,
Turbo.
and TikTok trends. Let's be real. When you see an influencer squad on your FYP, they all kind of match. Same style, same vibe, same level of attractiveness. And this isn't by accident. The more cohesive a group looks, the more they attract followers, brand deals, and let's be honest, better dating prospects. It's like a social media cheat code. Ever notice that influencer trips like the Tarte Dubai trip or the Coachella influencer squad seem to be exclusively made up of gorgeous, camera-ready people? That's not a coincidence. A report from Harvard Business Review found that social media beauty standards influence people's real-life friendships, leading them to seek out relationships that align with their personal brand.
I can only be friends with women that are full of themselves, because if you get around me,
I needed to reply to this because the way that this is so true, and not necessarily full of yourself, but just have confidence. You don't have to be the most beautiful in the room. You don't have to have the highest status in the room. You don't have to be necessarily better than someone in order to be the most confident person in the room. It comes with the way that you carry yourself, and when you have that confidence, you just aren't finding yourself competing with anyone else because you know that you are the main character. That's why I found myself being friends with people that weren't confident, were extremely insecure. What do? They were trying to put me down. They were trying to make me feel insecure because they didn't see themselves as the main character. They saw me as the main character, and they were trying to compete with me to get to that level. That's why you got to be friends with people that have confidence, that see themselves as the main character, because then they don't have anything to compete with.
I just find this to be...
Shorty, first things first, you need to keep your eyes on the road. Second thing, what is like the confidence thing that they talking about? I honestly believe there's two ways. There's two different confidences that people are talking about. So I'd like to think I'm extremely humble for people that don't know me. But I like to say that I am confident. I'm not a superhero or anything. I'm not perfect. However, I have imperfections and whatnot. But outside of that, like I don't like. I would like to think I have confidence. But my confidence is quiet, right? I don't tell people I'm confident. I just am. Like it's not like this is what I'm talking about. Like there's a difference between like making sure people know you confident and just being confident. Like it's not a conversation. And I get like they're just making a post, so they have to explain, they have to talk about it. But like this is like years of seeing thousands of posts, and when you see thousands of posts in certain content, you start to develop some kind of a bank of I've seen this content before. I've seen another shorty say something like this. This is like the 1,000th shorty that makes a post like this. And the pattern that I'm noticing is that the women that are like, that verbalize that they're confident, that they have high self-esteem, they're a little, I'm not gonna hold you, they're a little annoying to be around, because there's things that don't need to be talked about that y'all like talking about, and it's kind of annoying to have this conversation. And then there's other shorties that it is what it is. Like it's becoming a rarity to have a shorty that's attractive or whatnot, and she's like, she don't feel the need to voice certain things. She just is what it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But the social media thing, man, the social media is, in my opinion, turning this world, like, certain parts of social media, not all of it, but there's certain parts of social media that's really making it's becoming too prominent in people's lives, where the things that they do is really not in reality. It's literally what they're doing in reality is literally stemming from social media, as if it's like a video game. It's stemming, everything they do is from social media. Nothing that they do is like, not that it's not genuine, but it's literally like, if there were no social media, you wouldn't be doing this how you're doing it. You literally got this insight from social media. But that's here nor there. Drop a comment in the comment section if you agree or disagree.
Crazy, because it's like, what even is that? Like, what even is a personal brand? Like, I know in our day and age what the connotation of a personal brand is, but like when it comes to friendships, I don't understand the whole connotation of like, oh, this person aligns with my personal brand, so like we're gonna be friends. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
So basically, what I'm getting from this video, and it was a great video. It was a great video. It was great research that she brought up. But what I'll say is, and this is one thing that, especially since I'm getting older, this is one thing that I like really, I really protect my peace against. I don't like with the, and it's more of a female thing to keep it a stack, but you know, with me and my guys, I tell my guys all the time, like, bro, you don't gotta worry about me like not having a haircut, because I'm one of the guys where like I go every week to go get a shape up, right? Like I get a shape up at least every week, you know what I'm saying? And then outside of that, I go get me a fade, bring it down to a 1, you know what I'm saying, or a 1A. Nevertheless, I tell my guys all the time, like, yo, when we going to hang out, every time we go to hang out, I'm not trying to go places where I gotta, basically wear khakis and a button up. Nah, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we don't even gotta go out. Sometimes we could just go to somebody's crib, you know what I'm saying, or we could go to Seaside Heights, we could go to Six Flags, we could go karting. Like, we don't gotta have this high standard that like every time we go out, we gotta basically wear black ties and tuxedos, you know what I'm saying, or just that concept of we gotta like super dress up just to go hang out. That's fake to me, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying. And again, like I said, guys, when we form friend groups, we don't form friend groups based on everybody needs to be 6'2". Nah, because we identify there's different values that people have. Is not just tied into physical looks or the physical. What I will say is, yeah, like if I work out, I would, and my friend don't work out, I would tell him that he needs to work out, but I'm not gonna, unless he's literally like going in the opposite direction of like literally just letting himself go and just being fat. And yeah, somebody like that I wouldn't hang out with. But what I'm saying is, this is like female shit that's overly invested in social norms and what other people think about you, in my opinion. Because if you did things based on what's real to you and your core beliefs and your core values, you'd be friends with whoever you align with based on your core values and not based off of what social media says is right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's respectful to everyone that buys into that shit, but I don't buy into that, and I don't buy into it, with the guys I hang out with. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to dress up. Sometimes we, you know what I'm saying, I'm just going to wear sweats, you know what I'm saying, and a tee and a do-rag, you know what I'm saying? But I personally believe that I don't really approve. I ain't tripping because it really don't affect me, but I really don't approve of how Gen Zs move regarding social norms, with social media being the heavy influencer and who they hang out with. Because yeah, the friendships are going to start getting fake. They're not going to be genuine friendships. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if friendships start having applications and your Instagram page is your application. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do. I don't know for sure if they do that, but you know what I'm saying? I just think I don't know. I think it's weird, bro. Nevertheless, drop a like, comment, subscribe. If you have anything you want to say in the comment section, let's get the conversation going. I'm out of here. Peace.